The Vice Chairperson of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Professor Nanama Brown-Kluche, has stressed the critical need to address climate change, citing its impact on peace and security in Ghana and across the continent. Speaking at a Buy Now workshop organized by multiple universities, she highlighted climate change as a significant threat to humanity. The workshop, funded by the German Academic Exchange Services, is aimed at equipping graduate students on themes such as culture, conflict, arts, and sustainable development.
It's all about our security, our very existence on Earth, the impact from the climatological point of view as a climate scientist or climatologist. When you compare the past history of our climate system to our present and the future projections, we are living in a threat. The risk of climate change is high. And of course, as we know, if we don't do anything about it, it's a threat to our very existence. So that's the security point of view. Taking it from a cultural point of view, I don't know about Germany, but I'm very sure about Nigeria and also know about Ghana, that our cultural activities or beliefs have changed from the traditional religious beliefs to more Christianity and Islamic beliefs. And it's also a threat to our practices, especially the environmental practices. We used to have what we called taboos and sacred places. Days we're not supposed to go to farm, those we're not supposed to go for fishing, and rivers or areas along the riverbanks people are not supposed to visit or go. We used to have forests and all of that. I don't know if this is positive or negative, but I'm a Christian, and so I have some level of reservation when I'm expressing this view, but I can also express this on a platform like this, because we are talking about science and we're talking about climate change. So we have the belief that those traditional beliefs are no longer, working, or the gods in those sacred places are not powerful enough, and that we have that supreme God, supreme being, who will protect you anyways. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that we used to hold our cultural values and some traditional values to protect the environment so much that we will not cut trees along the riverbanks. We preserve farm animals and some species in the farm because it's a taboo to visit farms and some other places some days of the week or sometimes in the traditional calendar. But all those, or most of those, have died down because of change in beliefs. And I feel it's hurting our environment and ultimately hurting climate change or contributing to the issues of climate change.
Echoing this sentiment, Professor Emmanuel Ken Aosu from the University of Ghana outlined how cultural values historically safeguarded the environment against degradation caused by human activities.
It is natural or anthropogenetic. It's interfering with this ecobalance. In simple terms, as we're growing up, certain herbs or trees you don't see them anymore. Those who are fishermen, when they go to fish, sometimes they draw the net. There is no fish that comes with it. But in technical terms, about 50% of fish species are lost. And if we want to carry this further, it also leads to issues of animal, birds, fish migration, whereby Fish that is not known to be sometimes in the river is in the river. Those that are not known to be in the sea are in the sea. I was joking with my students. There is some white bird that normally comes to Ghana during the dry season. Now they are sedentary in Ghana because where they are coming from in the Sahel is no more. To continue with Prof's argument, it goes back to Malthus, whether we call it neo-Malthusian theory or whatnot. As population increases, the climate is threatened. And in our part of the world, between 70 and 80% ache the land for a living. From that perspective, we are more dependent on the environment for our sustainability, whereby when you take Europe, in certain places, it's only 4%, which are farmers. So there is more pressure on us. The other aspect is technology. We do not have the technology to tame weather and to tame the environment as it happens. Studying outside, sometimes you wonder if there is dust. But when you are in a distance, no matter how even universities, you are engulfed with dust and fog. So these are some of the negative things. But from a security perspective, just as I said that birds, fish are migrating, so human beings have to migrate because climate change leads to what? Loss of livelihood, unsustainable life. And from a cultural perspective, if you take the Fulani, for example, what would they have culture that we call Aplaku? I don't know how the Nigerians call it, but it should be very similar. They have a philosophy. Every grass is made by God to feed their animals. So when they migrate to countries that are, what will I call it, secular countries, they even see commercial plants and other things as something to feed their cattle. So this thing has what spiral to all forms of what security challenges that if we want to talk about it today will not end. And
Reporting for TV UCC Comfort, Sweetie Hayford.